Hello there, Goonie124 here. I'm actually showing my face here. I'm not going to do any stupid things YouTubers do, like face reveals, wearing masks. I'm just going to, show my face. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you my name even. My name is Jake Tomlinson. Obviously don't actually use that information for anything bad. But yeah, my name is Jake Tomlinson. I'm from England. And this video is an about me. This is for my website called Goonie124.com. I actually own a domain now. So yeah, this is for my website in the About Me page, and I decided instead of writing it all, I decided instead to actually make this an actual video where I actually talk to you. I think that's a bit better, isn't it? A bit more interactive rather than reading. So this video is going to be talking about my projects, about me and my education, stuff like that. It's for not just for you guys, but also for like an employer. But also, I'm going to be doing this as like a kind of commentary plus reel, because I'm going to put some actual projects and like screenshots and stuff in the actual video while my webcam's up there or something. But yeah, that'll be like screenshots of my 3D models, be videos of the games I've made, and also animations as well. That's what you guys are going to. That's what you guys are going to see. Is what I'm going to say. But yeah. Notice, I'll pause the webcam a few times to give some extra information and corrections. I didn't want to do the video again because I'm so confident in this video. Alright, let's get back to it. First things first, I'm going to talk about like my skills. Well, a lot of my skills are related to stuff like media and also computer science and just overall creative stuff. Like I used to do a lot of drawing, and that actually went into doing art at my high school as GCSE. I used to do a lot of drawing back in like when I was a kid, but then I actually went into actually making my own art. I did illustration, mainly illustrating like creatures and stuff like that, and also I did an animation as well. I've also done animating since I was a really young kid. Actually 12, I used to do these terrible MS Paint animations, but that went further than that, and I actually made my own rotoscoped like art project, and it was really good. I got some people to act for me, and I recorded a video, and then I rotoscoped afterward using that video, which is really cool. An extra bit of information on the art project is I also did 3D modelling and 3D animation in it. For example, the helicopter is a 3D model that I animated and turned into images so I could paste it into frames on the animation. The helicopter had a green screen background, so it was easy to get rid of its background and paste it into said animation frames. Though I did make some 2D scenes, I also did 3D scenes with Blender, where I modelled rooms and also modelled furniture and items like sofas and drinking vessels. I also added some 2D sprites to the scene as unique pieces or secrets, like a fedora or a pile of coloured rocks. But that's my art stuff, and I did computer science as well at high school. And I did Python, which is a language I did in my computer science. And I still do use languages like Python. I use GDScript for the game engine I use most of the time now, which is Godot. Although I should probably definitely know some other programming languages in the future. Mainly I should know C++ and C#, but I also do know a little bit of Lua as well, because I have used Roblox's editor as well. A correction on the programming stuff is I was trying to say that I haven't learned C++ or C# yet, but I will eventually learn them in the future. But I have used Lua, which I used in Roblox. Also, an extra thing to know about my Unreal projects is I used the visual coding in Unreal. So, going on further to games development, I actually went to college in Nottingham called I went to a college in Nottingham called Confetti Institute of Technology, and I did level 3 games technology there. I used engines like Unreal, and I actually used Blender as well, Blender's engine, which I did on my own accord because I wanted to use a different engine over the ones they were using. But I used Unreal, I used Unreal. They also showed us how to use Unity as well. But mainly what I was using was Unreal there, and also the project I did for like trying to make the best game after all the all the assignments have been done. I made that in Blender, the Blender's game engine, because I wanted to show that you could make games in these engines that people don't really, have any knowledge of. So that game was pretty laggy, I gotta say, but I'll show you guys in a bit. It'll probably show in the background right now. That game was called OpenShock, and it was a game that was based on System Shock. Because I was playing System Shock around that time, and I really liked how the game was... It had a very similar, like, the graphical look of it was very like Doom, but the game had a lot of mechanics I really liked, and I thought it was pretty cool for, like, a game like literally a year after Doom. It had like stuff like leaning over corners. You could lean over corners, you could crouch. There was stuff like security cameras. There was different weapons, and I think the weapons are different ammo types, which is really cool. And a lot of that kind of mechanics relating to that, I actually made an OpenShock, which was going to have its own level editor. And level editor, when I was messing about with it initially, it was okay, but the thing about Blender is it doesn't work very well with objects, so I decided to, after, releasing that little tech demo, I decided to completely just, not really completely forget about it, but definitely went off of it. So, other things that aren't... talk about other things, not just skills. Maybe hobbies now? Hobbies. What should I talk about? Oh yeah, one more skill. A few more skills. Okay, a few more skills. I do know quite a few. 3D modeling. Speaking of Blender, I have done 3D modeling since I was in high school in Blender. Although college definitely improved on that. We also did Maya in college, which was another 3D modeling software. We use that as well. But I mainly use Blender because I always like using it. It's free as well. Like, if you've ever looked at licenses for licenses for software made by Adobe, you would know they're very expensive. So yeah, I used Blender a lot. I used to model a lot of different things. I modeled guns, I've modeled characters, I've modeled a lot, and you can probably see a few in the background right now. I've actually got some models I've actually made in Blender in the background. And one of the projects we did in college, which was actually, that project was kind of was an assignment, but it was cancelled because of COVID. So we had to, didn't have to submit it, which is kind of a shame because that project was pretty good. I actually did like art, like the actual artwork that helps you model, kind of like guidelines for the modeling. What do you call it? Like references. And I actually drew them for the actual models. And you can see them in the background now. You can see the models compared to the actual images, like the references they were made from. But that was a very sci-fi kind of environment I wanted to go for. And a lot of them, even the robots in that environment, I actually reused for my OpenShock game. And going back to games, what other games I've been working on? I've been working on... During college, I worked on a helicopter game, there was a theme we had to do. It was basically a mock exam, and this theme was, I think, nature, or maybe like some kind of social cause. And I decided to make a game where you're in Australia and you're in a helicopter. And you had to... It's basically where the wildfires were. The wildfires in Australia. I made a game about that. And you actually had to put the wildfires out and save koalas. And there might be some footage in the background right now showing this game off. And it was actually pretty good. I could probably release that if you guys wanted me to. But yeah, it's a really fun little game. And that was made in Unreal. So, what, have I mentioned what game engine I'm using now? I'm using Godot right now. I did mention I use GD script now. But I use Godot now, and Godot's also the engine I used to make my software in. I made, the main project I'm going to be talking about is 124 Music Box. Alright, I'm gonna mute that guy in the left corner and actually tell you guys again about my music software because the old recording didn't have enough information in it. Alright, I have developed a music software in Godot that is called 124 Music Box. The development of this software was done for the aim of having a sequencer or adding custom sound files as something that can be done, and it works. It even works on other people's computers too, and you can download it for free on itch.io. The software has an interactive tutorial so you guys can have a look at it and learn the software. I will update 124 Music Box in the future, but I need you guys to test it for me. I've actually got a Google Forms and I actually will put it in this video so you guys can actually test it. Alright, I think the old recording can go back on now. So yeah, we talked about skills, we talked about things I've worked on. So let's talk about actually my, oh yeah, I keep talking about more skills, playtesting. You guys have been on the channel, you've seen I can actually playtest games. I've used Jira, so I can actually use proper playtesting software. And I've playtested quite a few games, and in the background you might see some of the, all the bugs that I've found in these games. But yeah, I like to do playtesting, and I actually like to get a job in it. That's what I want to do. The job I'm looking at right now is a game studio in Sheffield, and I definitely want to get that job. So yeah, that's playtesting. So now, hobbies. I keep getting ahead of myself, but let's talk about hobbies now. Okay, the hobbies I like. Obviously, drawing is obviously one of them because I literally talked about how I've drawn for so long. Playing games, definitely a hobby. You can definitely. I think I started playing games in like 5 or 6. I can't remember exactly, but I've played games for a very long time. And I used to play on consoles, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. But then I actually got into PC. I've got my PC right now, the one I'm gaming on right now, the one I'm recording. I'm gaming on it right now, I'm recording this video, but I game on this one right here. And I've got a big Steam library, if you guys want to see in the actual video, if I post a screenshot of all the games I've got in there. And the games I like are, right now, I like a lot of games that are probably, you know, more for adults. I like a lot of FPS games. I like RPGs. The FPS game I like the most, like the multiplayer one, is probably Team Fortress 2. I also like single-player FPS games like Half-Life, and these games definitely want me to get into source modding. I definitely want to get into source modding because of these games. And speaking of games related to actually my game development stuff, is these, like, playing games definitely wanted me to get into game development. Like, a game that I really enjoyed was Little Big Planet. Like I said, I like games that are more mature. Like, I like games that are for adults. Like, the games recently I played, like Gothic. I've played Pathologic, Quake, all these adult games. But one of my, probably the game that I'd say is probably the favourite one of all time is definitely Little Big Planet. Like, Little Big Planet is like, the game had a level editor, and I'm pretty damn sure that's what made me want to make games. Is because it's a level editor where you could actually make levels as the character. The character themselves can put down level geometry. And it was codeless as well. And that just definitely got me into making games. Definitely. I would say that is the game, and Roblox as well. Those are definitely the games that got me into games development. So yeah, that's my hobbies. Other hobbies? Well, I like to go to the gym sometimes. That's definitely a hobby. And walks. Oh yeah, making music, asset creation, animations. Well, a lot of my skills are also my hobbies. Okay, what else to talk about? Projects. I've already mentioned OpenShock. I've already mentioned 124 Music Box. There is another project I want to maybe talk about, is Doom Island, which is a project I've worked on. I worked on it on my previous studio name, but this was a game that was going to be like a party survival game. in that you were on an island and you got points by basically doing stuff on the island. Stuff like getting coconuts, killing monsters, you know, just anything really that got you points. And I decided to restart development on Doom Island because I wanted to improve the code, because the code was very messy. And I'm just gonna... It's not a game I'm gonna abandon. There's a lot of projects that I've abandoned, but it's definitely one that is not gonna be abandoned. It's a game that I definitely, you know, is very close to me because I used to play on that Little Big Planet level with my friends called Doom Island. So yeah, I'm definitely going to work on that at some point. And speaking of games, I'm definitely going to start playing games on this channel more often. Not just game testing, but also playing games, because I want this channel to be broad. And I might even include the other projects that aren't games on this channel, like my animation. Because I definitely want to do a proper video on my animation, tell you guys how I did it. Basically, how I did that animation. Yeah, I think that is enough about me. This is my about video, not a paragraph written you have to read. This is an actual video. And this video is going to end very soon because I didn't time it. I don't know how long I've been talking for. I have no clue. But yeah, thank you for watching the video, and any employers who want to get me a job, then please do send me a link to the job or something, to the actual application. But there's definitely one studio I'm definitely got my eyes on right now. So if they don't get me, other people send me a, you know, application. Alright. Bye everyone.